have a question for you, Wasim. So, being an entrepreneur, as I read your bio, and being the chief investment officer at the Entrepreneurship Center at Aramco, what are the most important things that you would love to see happening, in order to have a better future in KSA in light of the entrepreneurship movement? You mentioned you want things to be faster, but what do you want to see at the end?
Excellent question. Like I said before, what you want to see is the greatest impact, right? So at the end of the day, how can you do that great impact? And I always have to keep on reminding what my elders and people have told me. And this, you need to have nationalize something that's great. When you do it at individual levels, such as one university or one institute or 5 institute, that's pretty good. But when you do it, when you look at a national agenda, you roll it out in the national agenda, then it gets much more momentum. And I think that, and I know that we have some people up in the ministries are listening. I think they're making a change. But what I'd like to see is nationalize this actually event, not to have champions such as ourselves doing it, but actually nationalize it to the whole kingdom, roll it out to really make a difference to our kingdom. That's what I'd like to see.
Excellent. Abdullah, what do you recommend to corporates, for example, working in a consulting, management company, and you have been working with Aramco, you have been working with the DTVC company over here, and being also, an alum of KFUPM. How do you see, the role of corporates in this future of entrepreneurship in the kingdom?
First thought is that there are two types of corporates, if you allow me. Purely private sector players and multinational companies, and then you have the national champions like Aramco and SABIC and STC. Let's focus on the corporates, the multinationals and the private sector. They have an immense role to play, whether it's from the dimension of sponsorship and support to a lot of the activities that are happening around them in their ecosystems, whether it is supporting campaigns for increasing entrepreneurship knowledge, attending conferences, sharing their know-how. More importantly, and this is something that we are trying to leverage here in the Dhahran Techno Valley ecosystem, is with the presence of global companies with a track record of technology and innovation, bring them closer to the student body and having them interacting in the activities of the Entrepreneurship Institute, which is already happening. And we want to see more of that, because at the end of the day, being closer to the end user is what matters. This is where you create a sustainable business beyond the support of government initiatives. There's another tool that we often forget, which is local content enablers. So at the government level, on an orchestrated matter, we can leverage some of the tools that ensure that a certain percentage in a certain spend area is dedicated to SMEs to ensure their long-term sustainability. But then these are short-term measures. You need to really come closer to the end user and the industry need to ensure your sustainability on the long run.
Now, Luay, you have just mentioned, previously that 4 years back you started, and it was very hard for you to start, where there wasn't such an infrastructure as we, talk, today. So, being a student and being an entrepreneur, and mashallah, you are now, having 15 employees, as I understand. What are the main things that you would love to say to university presidents and to the Ministry of Education, things that universities can really do, help and enable, entrepreneurship and have a better future for an economy at the kingdom over here?
I believe the first challenge is to build this among the mindset of the professors, of the instructors in the university, so that they can help the students who are establishing their ideas and businesses. It's about, I believe it's not only about the student himself. Sometimes the ecosystem itself, it needs to be changed. I see this is going very with good steps in KFUPM and in other universities too, as they have established their centers and they are working on changing the mindset, and they are establishing their incubators. I believe they have done very good steps with regard to this, and a lot of things are coming. I like today the idea of having a minor in entrepreneurship. It might be great to have it here. I never heard of it in Saudi Arabia. So this might be a great idea to start in our universities.
Abdulaziz, I have also, a nice and interesting question, and you can just like back up from answering this question if you don't want to answer it. But what do you like to say to the decision makers, in the kingdom at many levels, being like engaged, like early on? I understand that you started, for example, Bariq. You were like among the Linux geeks, like 10 years back or like 15 years back, if I remember. You have been telling me. So, and you went through like many difficulties, and because of the ecosystem wasn't there again. So what do you want to tell the decision makers at different levels? So
First, let me correct you. It was 16 years, but I was 7 years old, I think. So, yeah. Actually, there is some obstacles in the face of every entrepreneur in Saudi Arabia. That is the regulations. You cannot take any government project unless you have many useless papers, okay? And when you want to gather those, there's a huge market for mu'aqqibin. That is like, I think it's a job that only exists in Saudi Arabia. There is no one-stop shop.
Can you define the term mu'aqqibin?
Government service agent. Job description. So, yeah, we can have one-stop shop. I think WAED and EI can come up with something, especially with the existence of the new General Authority for SMEs. I think Dr. Tawfiq can push this through, and we can have one-stop shop at every incubator, especially government-based incubators. I mean, is that too much to ask?
I don't know.
So you, I mean, they did it for the foreigners. I mean, for the foreigner investors, it's there, and they were able to put it through. I think the youngsters and Saudi entrepreneurs, they deserve even more. They deserve to get, for example, I worked at Temkeen as a VP, and we thought about the entrepreneurs, the small and micro businesses. I think we should have a global-based project, a national project for ERPs for small businesses and micro businesses. This is the least we can do to enable them. We have one-stop shop, and we can give you an accounting system. It's the simple things that you do it manually over and over for every incubatees, right? I think you can take it a step further to automate it and to make a cloud that serves all of the SMEs in all over the kingdom.
So why don't you take this as a project, so to propose to the government?
Actually, for the strategic projects, you need a push. You need an investment from the government, because this is not a profitable project. If it's a profitable project, many people will jump all around from, international companies. But this is a national strategic project that should be taken in mind. I mean, we have WAID, we have Badir, we have multiple incubators that should all together come up with one product, one single joint project that will serve all of their customers.